Alright, I think we're back on here. I am just starting the upload to YouTube. And then we can get started here. So as soon as that's ready, we will allow you guys to watch the first hour. So sorry for the technical difficulties we've been seeing here. Let's see. I'm gonna let people on Facebook know. Alright, so let's get started on combat. So we're going into the South Veilway, and the South Veilway is, like I said, along the path between Braemar, which is the far south of the Hidden Vale, and Owl's Head, which is the capital of the area. See, there's some pillars, lots of trees around, and the area is kind of divided. Over on the right side you can see some ruins there, which are usually infested by spiders, and it looks like there's a couple people already here hunting some cotton. Gatherers are free to come around here and get as much as they want. There's a couple exits from the area, so where we came in, there's one there, there's one on the other side there, or you can just run out of any open area if you just need to escape. Once we're past this main section, we've got two ways to go. To the left, there's an area in here to hunt skeletons and spiders. And to the right, there's a fairly good area to hunt wolves, I believe. That looks like spiders too. So maybe it's the North Veilway I usually go to, but let's see if we can take out a couple of these wolf spiders. So you can do quite a bit of damage with our charged attack. So you get some experience that way, and that does improve our ranged combat ability. You start with a set of harvesting tools. I actually have some artesian tools in the bank if we want to use those later that don't take damage as you're harvesting, but we can get some venom sacs off of the spiders. Wolves and bears will drop pelts, and that will earn us some additional experience. We got experience for killing the monster in our adventurer pool, and we got some experience in the producer pool by harvesting. So it's a good idea to do both if you're planning on advancing in crafting. There's another spider, so we'll go ahead and try to take it down. spiders have a web attack that you just saw hit my legs there, and you can get out of it by jumping, but jumping takes a little bit of focus, so you don't want to use it too often. So I took down one of the spiders, and then you can tab to target the next one. And you can kind of see that I'm taking some damage here, so I have two choices. The spiders are really tough because they can web you and stop you. You don't have a lot of alternatives for them. But when you're fighting skeletons and things like that, one of the best ways I found to get away from them is to jump. So you free yourself from any webbed or things like that, and then just run around in circles and let them chase you. You can usually kite them like that and keep them far enough away that you either don't take a lot of damage or do more damage than they're doing to you. And that works well when we get high enough in skill to go to like Greymark Forest, something like that. And the other is to keep using this disabling shot, which will root that mob that you're fighting. Makes them move slower so that you can get away. Alright. Well, it looks like we're doing better after this last reboot. We're now up to 9 viewers. Excellent. Alright. And I'm not getting any other complaints, so hopefully we're past that little hiccup we had earlier. Not seeing anything living in here right now except for spiders, which aren't a lot of fun to fight, so let's head out to another area and see if we can find a little better hunting. So, you can come down here, there's some skeletons. Let's see if we can't fight these. So one nice thing about archery is that you can run while charging. I just skilled up at my ranged combat. It's now 31. So it's been slowly eating away some of my experience as we're going. And skeletons drop a lot more items as well. So, Corpse Wax is a regent that you'll use when you're doing spellcasting. It's used, binding, I believe, is what it has primarily. Ectoplasmic Residue is something you can find off any undead, and that is a quest reward that you can turn in. It's also worth quite a bit of money, and then they drop golden weapons as well. So, I suppose if you're desperate, you can start shooting rabbits. Right, I've raised another skill, Heightened Awareness. You can tell anytime a skill goes up because you get that gold banner around you, and it will note that in your chat log. And then, like I said, we can run and try to lead it away, get a shot in. Can lower its dexterity, use piercing. It's not actually wearing any armor, so that doesn't do us a lot of good. Or we can use the disabling shot and make it run a little slower. You can see that the debuff appears in its window. Not doing too bad there. You can also see that there are some plants that appear in this area, and we can actually harvest them. This is a nightshade plant, which is another reagent. these lower level areas, the chance of success is fairly high, so this is a good place to come if you want to work on your harvesting skills. This is a cotton plant, which we can use to create some new armor, clothing, weapons, things like that. So you can definitely do that. Again, that is using some of our producer experience, but it also raises that experience pool for success. So there's a skeleton here that we're gonna try to snipe. And then we'll slow him down and try to bring him to us. I don't want to get him too far away from his normal area, because they do have a range at which they're going to stop trying to fight and run back. And that isn't all that much fun to try to chase them, so. And still getting a lot of ectoplasmic residue, which is kind of rare for me. I usually take a few skeletons before I get any of that. This graveyard does have quite a number of skeletons that will spawn in it, so it's a good place to come hunting if you're able. Oh, looks like we have some competition here. Decius is also fighting skeletons in this area, so I'm actually going to leave him to it. Let's go down to King's Road and see what else we can find to combat this morning. Just take a look at what we advanced here in the range section. We have the ranged combat skill. Oh, one of the skeletons followed us. So my trained dexterity just went up for using a ranged skill, since it's dex based. Seen an icon appear in my top right corner. That was the network disconnect icon. That happens when we're either using a lot of bandwidth or the game is running slow for some reason. So hopefully you guys can still see everything on here. Yeah, I got a notice of a few drop frames. So if the game starts running really sluggish or just doesn't look good on your guys' end, I am uploading these to YouTube, so hopefully you guys can watch them there. If it's really bad, please let me know, and I'll see what I can do about getting some stuff switched out. I don't know if it's my ISP or if there's something else going on, but there have been a couple days where I was testing that worked really well, and then there was a couple days that were not so good. So let's go ahead and enter King's Road. The other thing you can do is, if you're finding a lot of the places where you like to hunt are not available because there's a lot of people there, we could switch over to single player online and go in and play those. But I really want to try to stay in multiplayer mode so that I can run into some folks and talk to you guys. I know we have some events coming up. The first one here is at 10, so I don't want to be in the wrong mode to do that. Let's see, what do we got first? We have we're going to be doing these tutorials until 11, and then we're going to run over to watch the Church of the Dark Star when Amber Rain does that. So we've actually got a little while to go. At 10 o'clock, though, I'm going to do our first drawing, and I'm going to give away a couple of things first. We're going to give away a Oracle coin from Relics by Rild, which, if you haven't seen it, these are gorgeous pieces. Here's mine. It's got the Oracle on one side and her conservatory on the other, and it's kind of, the coins are all etched in, so they look really neat, and he gave us one of these to give away, and I actually got a second one of these from the Caverns. Style Teckle donated one last night, so we'll be giving 2 of those away today. But those are really nice, and then I'll also be giving away some a $5 store credit item, so you guys can, if you're part of the Shroud of the Avatar community, you can pick up a couple items there. If you're not, I do invite you to become a member, because it doesn't cost a lot. It's a $45 pledge right now to get in at the adventurer level. However, there is a lot going on in this game. I mean, not only is there a full storyline that's coming, but the community itself is going to make this far and beyond anything that I've ever played before. I played Lord of the Rings online, and Lotro does have a number of player event type things, which are a lot of fun. But the community is just kind of fading in that game. And I don't know if it's because of the change to the music system that's driven a lot of people away, or if it's just that it's an older game and people are kind of switching out to newer items. But there's not a lot around here either. So again, these spiders are webbing me and trying to poison me, so I don't generally hunt spiders for that reason. It does look like they've been knocked down quite a bit compared to what they used to be, though. It used to be very, very difficult to fight a spider. There's a skeleton. That's what I was hoping for. Really getting lucky with the region drops today, so looks like there's a couple other people running around right now to try to find some items. So the 2 choices you have when fighting in here, if you don't want to deal with spiders, are the skeletons or the bears. So let's see if we can't. Find a bear over here. There's one. Bears are a little tougher because they have a knockdown attack when they maul you, but they do have some drops that I want to use for tailoring when we get back to town, so. Use Gust to blow them away. Use the slow down attack to make it so he doesn't move quite as fast, and then I can shoot him on the run. And then we will try to skin him. It looks like we have a really good chance in this area. And he'll drop hides. Occasionally he'll get scraps as well. Usually those come off of wolves. And now that there are some new craft skills in the game. They'll also drop heads occasionally, so you can make a wolf or bear head hat. Spiders aren't nearly as tough as they used to be, so I think we'll be able to take on a few of those. You can see they're dropping spider venom sacs. They can also drop the spider silk, which is used for spellcasting, and spider legs, things like that. One of the rare crafting ingredients that you need is a spider carapace, though. And you'll actually find those on the cotton strands. You're looking for a regular sized spider carapace, not a giant spider carapace. See a wolf off in the distance there. There's a bear. Let's take on that bear. Charging attack, and then slow and gust. And then we'll just kite him a little bit. Alright. So you can see I've been using these glyphs even though it shows that I have no arrows remaining. That's just one of the benefits of the reagentless casting right now, which I don't actually care for. I would prefer that all skills require reagents, and instead of using an arrow every time I attack with my normal attack, that I had something like a quiver that gives me unlimited ammunition as long as it's not damaged. Because you'll find that using a sword, you'll be able to attack for several hours worth of combat before you have to either fix that or replace it. In a bow, you're still going to take the same amount of damage to the bow itself. However, you're going to run out of arrows a lot faster. I only brought a few hundred with me, so we'll probably go through those by the time it's time to go see Amber and watch her sermon, but we have more we can pick up from the bank when we're done. Just have to run back to Soul Town, since that's where I stored them. That's one thing to note about banking, is that it is regional banking. So if I store something in Soul Town, I can only retrieve it in Soul Town. If I store something in Ardoris, I have to go to Ardoris. So it does give you some choices of where you store things, but at the same time, it makes you have to be cognizant of where you're playing at. Not every place is equal. There are definitely some places in the game right now that are preferable over others. If you get a place in Ardoris, for example, there's a lot of row housing there compared to the other styles, and there are a lot of services that you can have there. So you have all the blacksmiths and alchemists and mage wares and things like that. However, it's a large town, and it does not draw a lot of folks there compared to some of the others. Soul Town, on the other hand, is very popular because of the new players that are coming in all the time. You can kind of see that spider just ran off, and that's because we reached his leash range. Basically, they only come out so far before they want to return to their house, wherever they spawn at. Which is something specific and draw it away from its companions. However, it does allow you to get away without things chasing you all the way across the scene. Last time I was hunting in Kings Road, if I got ganged up on by 3 spiders like that, I would not have lasted very long at all, so... It looks like I must have leveled up my skinning skill, because I now have a 100% chance to skin those guys, and it was only 98 before. So, again, wolves are giving me hides, and I'll be able to use those in crafting when we get back to a location that has a table that I can use. Since I just started playing today, I don't have a house set up. I wanted to do character creation with you guys able to see it, so I don't have a house. I do have all the deeds and things in the bank, so if I find one I could probably go grab it. Alright, so I got interrupted from harvesting by some spiders because they were within range of seeing me. And you can see how fast my health drops when I'm not paying attention. There's that web attack, which can make or break some of these fights. Pretty low on health. I do have a healing skill. It's not very high, but I'll try to use it. It allows me to recover some health in exchange for focus. The more you skill that up, the better your heal will be. But especially as a ranged combat user, the best way to handle that is just not to get hit. You can stay out of their range and hopefully not get webbed. There's really no reason that you should be dying, especially to wolves and things like that that don't have a ranged attack. And then once you get out of combat mode and things aren't attacking you, you'll notice that your health goes up a lot faster. So that is a definite way to handle some of that. Getting lots of venom sacs, but that's about it out of these spiders today. So, field dressing skill went up again, so now it should be probably 100% across the board in this area. And that's only at level 3. Oh, that was just Swift Gathering and Survey, so that won't affect how easily we do it, but... And that is something to note about the skills that you can get for crafting. Each of the gathering skills has 4 components. So you have the actual proficiency, which is how well you can handle some of those. The higher the skill, the better percentage chance you'll have, regardless of where you're at. Then there's a survey skill for each, and this is how far away from a node that you can see it. A node is basically a tree for forestry, a dead body for field dressing, plant for agricultural or foraging, things like that. So the farther away you can see, it'll show little sparkly bits on top of it so that you can know that it's harvestable. And then the Swift Gathering skill is how long it takes you to gather. So right now it's taking a couple of seconds apiece. That will drop down the higher your skill gets. And then there's a meticulous collection skill, which you actually have to train. These two both have to be at 10 in order for you to start learning that. But that skill will actually allow you to crit your gathering, and that allows you to chain together and get more items off of a single harvest. So you could start a harvest on a cotton node, and instead of getting one piece of cotton, every time you succeed at a meticulous collection skill, it starts another one. So that allows you to get quite a number of bits out of each once your skill's up. So we got a wolf head, and that's one of the things I was talking about using to create a hat. That was a new... now I'm overweight, so too much encumbrance will actually cause you to move slower and potentially affect your dexterity. So I'm overweight by 1 pound now because I picked up a wolf head. But like I was saying, those are new recipes that you can use to create a hat that looks like a wolf or a bear. Just a fun kind of costuming choice, but I haven't made one yet. Pretty sure I know the recipe. Let's take that bear, and then we'll probably run back to town and we'll talk about some of the crafting. Makes me want to miss a lot today. Alright, so we've got a number of things now. We're still over just a pound, but it's a good time to break. So as a crossroads, you can kind of see that there's a set of statues here. It's kind of a good place to rest if you get hurt, because most of the monsters around here can't reach that area. Alright, since I see one here, this is a node for mining, so you can use your pick here and pick up granite and iron. There we go. That was on my way out anyway, so I won't worry about them. You saw my focus dropped really quickly there because I was using the sprint. If you double tap the run key, it allows you to start moving even faster to get away from enemies, but it does eat up your focus really quickly. So we got a couple of choices. We can head into Kingsport, we can go to Owl's Head, or we can go down to Braemar. Since Owl's Head actually has a crafting pavilion, I'm going to head there. can see some other players out on the map here. There's some player-owned towns. You can see some player-owned towns that surround the area. And then Owl's Head itself is an NPC town because it has the bandit. Owl's Head is the first town that was ever built for the pre-alpha. So roaming around in there is going to feel probably the most comfortable for people who have been playing this for a while. There's definitely a few things to see in here that you might not be able to see anywhere else. The first is that this is one of the initial towns that has a protective field. You could see on the overhead map there was a little Tesla tower, and that actually protects the town. The plan is from time to time that the town will actually become under siege. You can see in the distance the moon tower is there. We'll actually go take a look at that soon. But once that's active, there's this field that protects the town, and it completely surrounds it. There's a electrical fencing basically, and occasionally from time to time you see things appear on the fence, which I'm not sure if they're the eyes of the Oracle or if they're the enemy trying to scout out potential targets. There's a moon gate, lunar rift here, and where it takes you, right now it's going to go to Solus Bridge, but that does change from time to time as the moon switches out. These electrical pillars, magical energy coming off the pillars will switch and you'll go to a different location. There's very few lunar rifts in the world, so Owl's Head is fortunate to have one, but it usually delivers you to another location where there's one. As you saw, there's one at Solus Bridge, which is the closest to Arteris. There's one in the north to get you to that island of Norgard, and there's one in the mountainous areas to the east, to the west. Alright, so there is a river that passes through town, and the bridge to get in there is guarded. But you can look down there. This has the old style water on it that's more opaque. There's some areas that we'll see later on that are more translucent. They're using a new water system, testing that out. You can see off to the side here, there's the sewers that lead into Owl's Head, out of Owl's Head, so that you can actually go down there and do some battle. There's ghosts and I can't even remember what else is down there anymore. It's been a while, but yeah, there's some stuff down there that you can fight, and there used to be some places you can actually find some rare items in that area. I think those have been taken out though. There are a lot of lots that are available for player housing in each of these towns. So you can see people have claimed these areas. Someone actually has a vendor set up here in front of their obsidian tower with an obsidian fence and a death out in front. You can always come up and double click on the housing item to see who owns it. Once you do have a lot, you can place your house there and set permissions for who can enter and do some decorating. You can see that this is a town lot, and it's owned by Ashmal, and they have a obsidian tower placed. Here's the skills trainer for Owl's Head. So if we want to learn some new skills, we can definitely do that. However, right over here is one of our friends that we'll be meeting up with. This is where Lazarus Long hangs out, and Laz actually runs the New Britannia News Network, and NBNN will be joining us later on. Oh, there's Royal Sexy, so let's give him a wave. So because he is flagged as a player versus player, you can see that he has a little marker for him. If I was to go to the Oracle, I could actually get flagged the same way, and then we could engage each other in combat anywhere we met. For now, let's... Let's go down to the pavilion and we'll do some crafting. This is the lower market, so we can pick up some items there. Out in front of the crafting pavilion is a public vendor. So if you have anything that you want to sell, you can put it on the vendor here, and you can sell it for any amount that you might want to get for it. As you can see, there are some things that are very expensive in the game. I would not suggest paying some of these prices because it's not that hard to make, but to each their own. You can see that some people are actually selling items that were sold in the add-on store. So there's Day of the Dead masks, there's a Darkstar cloak, which is a reward item. There's Amber's Chaos Spoon. Some homes are available. Epic Armor is some of the best that's available right now. So if I wanted to trade in my boots for some Epic boots, right now because I'm wearing the Founder boots and I have the bonus, I'm getting better stats using what I have. But there are a number of things you can pick up there. Looks like the Virtue Cloaks and things for the end of summer spectacular must be in the game now. And then there's some magic items. Items that are player crafted can have a couple of attributes added to them depending on what they're created with. So the type of metal, the type of wood, or the type of cloth that's used in their construction gives them different attributes. So this halberd was created using power and haste, and that allows it to attack faster and add additional damage to your magic spells. And then every weapon also has a socket that can be added. This is done by taking a gemstone and polishing it down with alchemy to create a enchanted item, and then it's added to the weapon that gives it a special ability. So this was created with an emerald, I believe, and that gives it a shocking attribute, which adds additional damage to each hit. You can also use a ruby to get a fire effect on your weapon. And let's see, is there anything else in here? You can see some of these have also been crafted specifically. So these have dodge and power added to them. You can also see that this has a critical success. Right now, if you crit when you're creating a item, it actually adds +3 strength to it. I don't know if that's a set that's always going to happen or if it's going to depend on the type of item in the future. I would think light armor would add dex instead of strength, but I'm not really sure on that. So there's some crushing weapons here that add additional damage. There's one with that flaming socket. so it does fire damage. Dark lamps were added not too long ago. The first one is the Dark Star version, which is part of the end of summer rewards, but there's also a metal one that is available to craft in game, and an ornate one that you can purchase on the add-on store. And yeah, looks like not a whole lot of other things. Like I said, taming collars are what you're going to use for getting pets, and they're very expensive to craft, and they're selling for a lot. And then here's the hats that you can create out of that head that we picked up. This one happened to have a critical success, so it's a hat of strength. And then we create yards of leather, which is what we're actually going to create out of those hides that we produced. So, first thing you need to know when crafting is that pressing the B key will open up your crafting journal, and every craft that you want to do has a recipe. So, if we want to do let's say tanning is what's going to turn a hide into something else. So we have to have animal hides, we have to have a skinning knife, or tanning knife, and some curing salt. So that will allow us to turn things into leather. So if we use a tanning station, it will show us both the recipe and what percentage chance we have of success for this. Right now we have the hides. We have 5. We only need 4 to do this recipe, but we don't have a tanning knife or curing salt. So let's go pick those up. So we need some curing salt. So we're going to, oops, we don't need 999 of them. Let's just buy 1. Gold. Then we can come back and you can see that all the items on here are available. So if we double click on that, it adds the items to the table for us. Then we can craft it. We now have 2 pieces of leather, and we've used 1 bit of durability off of our tanning knife. So we can take those. The other thing we can do here is salvage items. So say we have cloth and we want to salvage that. Looks like we're not able to do that from here. But we can take those items and we can actually break those down into scrap that we can then reuse in order to recover it. I have one in the bank, but it's just easier to pick one up here. So a smithing hammer. And turn that into metal scrap. Very easy. It shows that my salvage skill is improved, and I've successfully salvaged 4 pieces of scrap from that. really just a matter of doing the same thing over and over again. Pull the scrap over, do another sword. Each of these is worth various amounts depending on how much ability they have left. So I got 17 out of that one because I had more than one that was on the next one. It also depends on how much your skill is. So we got rid of all those pieces of rusty metal and turned them into metal scrap. And now, as you can see in here, there are different things you can do with that scrap in order to turn it into metal. So if I take a piece of iron and some scrap metal, I can actually turn that into an ingot and use that in blacksmithing instead of relying on pure iron ore. That definitely reduces the amount of money that I have to carry to invest into it and how much I need to carry. You can see that I'm overweight a lot more now because I have more scrap, and that weighs more than the swords that it was made out of somehow. But since I don't actually need any of this, I'm just going to sell it. If you guys ever actually want me to craft anything, we can look at that later. I'm not very good at crafting yet, so but I have 75 pieces of scrap that I can get rid of and get 75 gold for it. I do have a couple pieces of iron ore and a granite block that are fairly heavy for carrying around, and I don't really need. I'm going to get those venom sacks also, get some money off of those. Let's see if there's anything else. I do have a spider silk, a spider eye, those ectoplasmic residues, the corpse wax. Those are worth a little bit more just because they're reagents. Don't really need the eye, but I'll keep the others. And you can see just for what I'm selling here, I'm going to get a little over 100 gold, which isn't a bad exchange rate. Alright, so that's basically how we skill up for both combat and crafting. I'm going to do a little bit more of that questing here shortly, but since it's 10 o'clock, I want to go ahead and do a drawing. Let me verify if we've got any new donations since we started here. Yes, we did. So let me add these to my list. So right now we have 17 people who have donated at all, and I'm basically just going to use a random number generator to determine who wins the first couple of prizes. These are going to be, let me jump over and show you what you guys can win. First thing is going to be an Oracle coin from Relics of Rild. And this is a beautiful coin. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. If you win this drawing, you're still eligible for any of the additional prizes at the end. So I'll keep your name in the drawing if you've donated high enough for that, $25 or more. But the lower level prizes, if your name gets drawn for a higher level one, I'll just go ahead and re-roll those so other people can have a chance. Right now we have a total of 30 items available for awarding. We only have 17 donations, so you guys can definitely keep those coming in. Everybody's going to get something really cool here pretty soon. I'm going to try to stop every couple of hours to do these things, so let's do the first one, and that is going to... As soon as the random.org website loads for me, that will go. All right. Number 5, that would be Indy Martin. Indy is also someone who donated an item for us, one of our grand prize. So she is the proud winner of a new Oracle coin. All right. The next thing we're going to be auctioning is a $5 credit. And that is going to Celine Noctua. So she's the winner of a $5 credit. All right. I'm going to take a really quick break here and show you guys a promo video for Extra Life, and then we will be back to continue on our way to learning new skills.
It's happening again. Extra Life, the 24-hour gaming marathon where gamers across the world raise money for our local Children's Miracle Network hospitals. It feels good to do something we love to help kids, but it feels great to get closer through the magic of game. We enter as friends and leave as real-world heroes for sick kids everywhere. Sign up online. Extra Life. Play games. Heal kids.
So again, since we've been going for an hour, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and restart the stream so we can upload that to YouTube. It looks like we're having better users able to get on and see, but I don't want to jinx that at all. So let's go ahead and restart this, and we'll get that uploaded to YouTube for you guys. I'll be right back.